In the last 24 hours, Donald Trump suffering two major legal blows when it comes to his actions on and around January 6th. Three judges on a federal appeals court unanimously dismissed Trump's claims that he has immunity from civil claims connected to the Capitol riot. And the judge overseeing the Justice Department's criminal case ruled Trump has no protection from prosecution as a former president. Let's go right now to NBC's Dasha Burns, joining us from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Donald Trump is expected to speak in this next hour. Welcome to you, Dasha. How is Trump's legal team reacting to these back-to-back losses?
Well, a Trump spokesperson is reacting to both of these lawsuits, saying in a statement in response to the federal appeals court ruling that this is a limited, narrow, and procedural ruling. The facts fully show that on January 6th, President Trump was acting on behalf of the American people, carrying out duties as president of the United States. Now, in response to Judge Chutkan's ruling in the D.C. case, the rhetoric amped up a little bit more. He said that the, quote, radical Democrats and President Joe Biden are trying to, quote, set dangerous precedents that would cripple future presidential administrations and our country as a whole in their desperate effort to interfere in the 2024 presidential election. And there you have it. Let's not forget that he is, at the same time as these cases are making their way through the courts, also running in the 2024 presidential election, trying to get through this primary and then on to the general. And look, these two rulings are troublesome for the former president. The federal appeals court ruling allows a number of pending cases that were waiting for what this three-judge panel were going to do, that were waiting to proceed, and now they can move forward because of what happened here. And the ruling from Judge Chutkan rejects one of Trump's really best and only claims to try to dismiss this D.C. case. Now it is absolutely moving forward. And one line from her ruling that really stood out to me, Alex, she said that just because essentially you were the former president of the United States, that does not confer a, quote, lifelong get out of jail free pass. And that case is set to begin in March. That is the case that is most likely to really play out all through the election cycle here, and getting in just before potentially Super Tuesday, set to begin March 4th, Alex.
Hey, Dasha, I'm curious, since you're there and Donald Trump is supposed to speak there shortly, have you gotten a chance to talk to anybody there in the crowd getting reaction? The fact is, these people are out. It's cold. I see how you're dressed. It's the middle of Iowa. You know, these people are coming out in droves to see him. Do they sympathize with the president, or does anybody see him as deserving, I guess, these kinds of rulings and really question the way he thinks? Or maybe people aren't in droves there. I mean, how crowded is it?
It's crowded. I mean, there's a very long line. I don't know if Steve, our cameraman here, can show you. There's a very long line. The event's not set to start for a few hours here. It's not set to start till 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, and already people are waiting in line to get in. And look, this is a Trump event. So the people who are here are major fans of former President Trump. And I'll tell you, whenever rulings like this that go against the former president come out, his fans come in. They come in, they rally around him. But the thing is, there are people here in Iowa, especially, and Iowans, of course, they want to kick the tires of all of the candidates. So you've got this, like, you know, about 35% of Republican primary voters that are basically immovable, that are going to be at his side no matter what. But you've got another, 60, 70% that are not certain or are never Trumpers. And they are absolutely concerned about rulings like this, and about the distraction, most of all, that it poses to the country and to the real issues that hit home for them, Alex.